Are you overwhelmed with all of the things that you have to handle every single day with your business and your personal life, and you can't seem to get it together, to keep it together, and it's driving you crazy? It's driving you insane. You just want to strangle somebody?
Oh, well, you're in the right place.
You're not alone.
And we're going to tell you how you can keep it together and balance your personal with your business life.
Pod Sounds Cool presents Content Heavy, the podcast that helps online business owners make better content and more money. Let's Hefe up.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Content Hefe podcast brought to you by the Pod Sound School. I'm Studio Steve.
And I'm Veronica. And this episode is a good one.
This is a really good one.
We're going to be sharing a lot of things that we have overcome along the way.
Yes.
And with that, we're going to be sharing practical and actionable tips that you can apply in your life if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, like running the whole operational. You are a CEO, a home CEO.
Especially a home CEO.
A home CEO. We are doing the thing. We are running our business from home, and we do everything from home.
So we're actually going to break this episode down into 7 really helpful tips and tricks that you can do that are really going to help you to relieve stress, to clear your mind, and to actually get more focus so that you can get better work done while you're at work, and so that you can be more present for your personal life and, you know, have the best of both worlds, because it's really difficult when you get into entrepreneurship and everything else. You know, there's the hustle and the grind. And all of a sudden you're like, I didn't sign up for this, you know, like.
And also to manage yourself, to be your own boss. It's like, oh, be your own boss. That's just a glorified thing that people throw on social media. Oh, be, boss babe, boss babe. Well, with being a boss comes the responsibility of managing yourself, which can be very challenging.
Well, let's talk about the first point. Let's get right into it. Establish boundaries. A good thing to do is to create a schedule that works for you and your team, and then also to find the right balance between work and personal commitments. So
listen, we don't have a couples therapist, so you're going to be.
So you're kind of there.
You're our therapist.
Yeah. If you have any ideas about like what's going on here, like what Veronica needs to stop
leave them
doing
in the comments,
and how Veronica's wrong and I'm right, just leave that in the comments. So you want to communicate your schedule to your team as well, and let them know when you won't be available. I love this one, especially for work from home, because something that I think is important to do and that we had to learn the hard way is to communicate your schedule to your kids and to yourselves. And even, believe it or not, to make a schedule.
Yeah.
I think
so. Things have changed a little bit since we shift the way that we see our personal life. In my opinion, like in my own opinion, when I started seeing my kids as team players.
Yes, and as like part of the company.
As part of the company and as part of this thing that you manage, because it all becomes one. Because if you don't have that part organized, then the other things that you have going on in your business, they completely fall apart.
Yes.
So if you happen to have kids at home, know and see them as team players, as important team players in your business, and create schedules, have meetings. Like we have business meetings. I sit down with them and I divide roles, and we have very strict schedules, and we negotiate, and we know the consequences of not certain things not being done. But it took us, this is something that we have been implementing like the last month.
Yeah.
But before that, it was chaos.
It was a lot of chaos in that department.
It was a lot of just one person having the responsibility of doing a lot of things, which it was usually me. And because we shifted to that new way of seeing our kids. And it's also building their self-esteem, I noticed.
Yes.
They also feel included in what we're doing. They also feel like they're being supportive and part of a team.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
It's been pretty cool.
And it's actually, it's been really wonderful that way. And so, and then even if you don't have kids, whatever it is, when you're working for yourself, it's so easy to just like show up whenever you want, to just get the work done whenever you want, especially if you're a creative type. Creative types work pretty well that way, depending on what side of the brain you more heavily operate on. What we're saying with this point here is to establish boundaries. And so by communicating your schedule, you say, I can't be interrupted during this time. And I really like this. There was a wonderful book that we've talked about before, Sales EQ by Jeb Blount. And he talks about in that book, he talks about this golden hour
Mhm.
of prospecting. And this is just for sales, but I think this can be said for any type of business. I think that in every work day we have what's considered like almost a golden hour.
Mhm.
We have like really only 2 hours of this golden time where our brain and our level of focus is there for that 2 hours to get the most critical important work done.
Mhm.
There's another book that we've referenced before where they talk about the MIT, or the most important task. So it's about tackling that most important task. And in the case of this book with Jeb Blount, there was this, they would have a little golden hour do not disturb sign like at hotels that they would put on the door.
Mhm.
And you wouldn't go in there no matter how important it was, because you knew they were doing their golden hour prospecting.
Mhm.
And so it's about really prioritizing that and setting boundaries. And a lot of times that can be defining roles,
Mhm.
getting those roles written in paper, having those meetings, creating schedules. And even if you, like us, do a bang up job and don't always meet your deadlines or hit your schedules exactly how you
Mhm.
should, that's all data that you can collect to
Mhm.
improve over time.
Yeah. And a lot of what we do, a lot of entrepreneurship is just rinse and repeat, or rinse and improve.
Rinse and improve. Yeah.
And it's just, it's not a linear thing. It's not something that you're always going to be good at. But the important thing is that you forgive yourself if the day before was a total chaos. If you were running around like, a chicken's head cut off. Is that, did I say that correctly?
You said it kind of good.
Kind of good. Well, how is it?
If you're running around with a chicken, like a chicken with its head cut
like
off.
a chicken with its head cut off.
Uh-huh.
Like your kids were screaming, like, there was no dinner ready.
Uh-huh.
Everything fell apart. Forgive yourself and start new the next day. There's this thing like you go to bed and then tomorrow is a good day. It's a new day for all of us. And we all get to try again and try again until you find the schedule, until you find the thing that works for you. But don't get discouraged. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. Nobody has it figured out. So keep going.
Yeah, I love that. And that brings us perfectly to point number 2, which is to take regular breaks
and recharge.
Yeah. Make sure that you're recharging your batteries.
Yeah.
I think this is something that you should set aside time for every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, that could be a short walk. It could be a workout. It could be taking some deep breaths, doing a stretch, whatever it is. If it becomes a ritual, if it becomes part of your day, if you can also use the first point to set some boundaries with this. I think this can be really hard to set these boundaries with ourselves. It's easy enough to put a do not disturb sign on your door and to tell everybody that you're going to be working at a certain time of day. But it's another thing to motivate yourself and to stay committed to do any of these like recharge activities.
Yeah.
I especially see this with Veronica, but even with myself too. It's just that you get so caught up in, and we're so anxious and excited about all of the things that our business offers us. We're so excited to see if we can, outperform our quarterly projections or whatever it is, right? And we really want to get to that destination. So it's like, no, I don't have time to meditate. Like I'm not going to sit through an hour-long guided meditation
with Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, or whoever it is to go through, but that transcendental style meditation to breathe and to collect yourself and to disappear from all of your worries and your concerns can be one of the most like game-changing exponential growth factors of everything you do.
Yeah.
Because then when you show up, your golden hour, you can expand that golden hour to be longer. You can get more done. You can get more quality work done. You could be more focused, and you could be focusing on tasks that are actually more important for you to tackle.
Yeah. And now that we've been long enough in this business, I can tell you that it's a long-term game and you will not see results right away. It is something that you build over time, especially if you are on social media, if you are on YouTube. Your audience is something, your authority and your influence is something that will be built over time. And I know that because I feel it too. I feel like I'm getting behind, like I'm not getting a lot done, like I'm not accomplishing many of the things that other people are accomplishing. But when you make yourself a priority, when you give yourself time to rest and to recharge, and that will put more years, more months to the game of entrepreneurship in you, in your journey. I've seen many people that we follow since we started our business that they have burned out.
Yeah.
that they have abandoned their businesses,
Mm-hmm.
that they are, taking a long break because finally it took a toll on their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And we were comparing ourselves with those people, like they were achieving and they were like growing super fast.
Yeah, we were getting imposter syndrome by them by crazy. And now they're not even in the game anymore.
And they're not even in the game anymore.
Yeah.
So that tells you steady, small growth.
Yeah.
It's better than overnight success.
Steady wins the race, right?
Steady wins the race. That overnight success, than hitting those like astronomical goals of making millions at the expense of your health, your mental health, your physical health, and your relationships. We've seen a lot of relationships being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So make yourself a priority, make the relationships in your life a priority, and you'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I think, says it perfectly and really transitions nicely into number 3, and that is to delegate tasks to others. This is a big one.
It's been a big one for us, and we were like so mind blown by when we open ourselves up to receive help, to find talent. We have found super talented people that are currently working for us, working with us, and it's been such a pleasure to see our vision come to life in different projects that we have going on.
Yeah, and also to see our vision turn into something that we could imagine ourselves.
Yeah.
It could be a form of self-sabotage or something when you hold on so tight. Like, for example, if you relate to this, I was an editor myself. Like, it was hard for me a video editor and audio editor, to let go of that. I found that the edits and the videos and the audio that we get back from our team are not only equal in quality or whatever outrageous standards I may have had, but they're also better and different and unique. And they take a different approach that I could have never imagined. And they help me to gain more expertise. And
the feedback that you get too is so valuable.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that you don't always have to be on, 60 hours a week to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
Right.
And
really,
entrepreneurship can be very lonely too when you have a team of people that is helping you. And that team of people may start with a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
With
somebody
a
to come
video
help you
editor,
clean your house.
with an audio editor. Yeah. With somebody that
or a babysitter.
Or a babysitter.
Like, because again, like
we love our people.
Yeah.
We love them. And we're so, so grateful that we have found good people.
And
that we're not doing this alone. Hey, I'm interrupting the episode for a little announcement. You know you have to create content to attract more prospects online, but the whole thing seems daunting and too much to figure it out on your own. Which social media platform should I choose? Should I start making videos for IG Reels, TikTok, or YouTube? What skills do I need to learn? What equipment do I need? Or maybe you're considering starting a podcast for your business. And if any of that's the case, we want to invite you to sign up for the waitlist for Smart and Simple Podcasting. It's our first coaching program where we, the Pod Sound School, will be teaching you how to create and launch a professional podcast from scratch. Content marketing, so your content is a lead generation machine for your business, and different ways to maximize every time you record so you can create micro pieces of content that will go on different social media platforms. We'll be holding your hand through the whole process, meeting weekly with you, making sure that you're not getting left behind. We'll be teaching students and clients about podcast and video production and marketing for 4 years. Our approach to teaching is straightforward, innovative, and fun. So hurry up and go to podcastingsmart.com/waitlist to sign up, or find the link in the description of this episode. Stop working so hard on your content. Make your content work for you. Now back to the episode.
Yeah, it's all about taking that workload off, but then also being able to grow more. And, you take any business that you admire, any place you want to get to with your business, which, come on, we all want to make millions and we all want to really have a big impact on the world. That is going to eventually, even if it doesn't seem like it right now, or it's hard for you to imagine, require building teams. And even if you have never thought of yourself as a manager, you're going to be sort of pushed into that, even if you don't have the personality type that's good at managing people. So you need to kind of lean into that a little bit, and it can be scary, and just start hiring some people. And even if you're like, well, that's going to be money that's not coming into my account. It will have
exponential growth.
Exponential growth, but it'll pay bigger dividends later down the road. Right. So like right now, it seems like it's taking, let's say, that $1,000 a month that you would pay to have an assistant. That is coming directly out of your pocket at this point in your business. But later down the road, that's going to be many $1,000s a month that are coming in instead because of what your team was able to do together, which is amazing. Not to mention that you get to provide some cool work opportunities for people that you admire, and that you get to choose who's on your team. And that you don't have to go in and sit down at a cubicle next to Henry, who won't stop talking about how the world's coming to an end or whatever it is, right? Like
I love cats.
That's what's so cool about this. So you can choose. And here it's important while you're choosing to remember the first thing, and to establish boundaries right off the bat with people that you bring to your team. But let's move on to the next one, because I want to get through all of these.
Prioritize your workload.
Yeah, and this what
prioritiza. How do you say that in Spanish?
I don't know. You've forgotten.
Prioritiza.
This I think we kind of touched on already a little bit when we were talking. We just mentioned this about the golden hour, about your most important task. Veronica's over here trying to remember how to say prioritize in Spanish. That's not a priority right now.
Okay.
To figure out how to say prioritize in Espanol. Does anybody?
So for me, is the shiny objects.
Ah, yes.
That I know what I have to do. I know what is required from me on that day. But lately, I've just been like distracted by these shiny objects.
Now, the shiny objects like new tools like ChatGPT or.
No, for me, it would be more like money that I can make right now.
Okay. So the instant gratification rather than the delayed gratification.
Rather than building something that is going to bring me more money later down the road. Then I get distracted with the projects that I can work on right now and make me money.
Yeah. So that's why I mentioned it earlier, the MITs. I think that is one of my all-time favorite concepts that I think a lot of people utilize in their own way. And that's just, you can start really big with your 5-year goals. And if you chisel away at your 5-year goals and get them down to daily goals, you'll very easily be able to put a simple goal list together that's 2 hours a day of one task, like one important thing that you have to do no matter what every day. And as long as you knock out that one have to do, all the other things, even if they never get done, they probably never even had to get done in the first place. Like in order to get to your destination, you really only have to do these little tasks every day. And that's something that's been really eye-opening for me in this whole like having your own business thing. Is at first I thought it was how many hours you put into the thing.
Well, and it's because we're coming from the being employed to being an employee culture.
And being hourly employees.
Being an hourly employee. So you feel bad if at the end of the day you didn't put 8 hours in your business, when is you have to change that mindset and just think about the impact that if you work for 4 hours, 3 hours, sometimes it's just one project. If that project gets done, that is gonna have an impact like for a whole week instead of working 8 hours a day for 5. I don't know if that makes sense, but what we do is just so different than what we used to do at our corporate jobs.
Yeah.
And that's something that is taking me so used to it, and it's taking me to like relax. We make a lot of videos. We work with sponsors. We do different things. So I have to make sure that I'm well rested, and that when I show up in front of the camera, that I'm ready to go and that I'm not going to waste anybody's time. So, and those 3 hours that I record videos, those videos are for a whole month. So all that work is compounded in this block of time that has a lot of impact.
And that needs to be highly focused.
Highly focused. I have to be on my game. It has to have, and by the end of those 3 hours, I'm drained. Yeah. So don't measure the time that you spend in your business. Like, don't measure it by the time, by the hours. It's by the impact that MIT has on your projects or your business.
Yeah. And so really, again, that can just come with writing down your tasks, writing down your ultimate goals, defining what your principles are as a business, defining where you would like to be in 5 years. A lot of times we skip over that and we just keep putting in hours because maybe where we came from with our corporate gigs or whatever it is, you get also the freedom of designing what your workday gets to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a 2-hour workday, and you can
Mm-hmm.
delegate it, and that's fine. But those 2 hours of work are going to be highly focused 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to train with your meditation and your exercise and
Mm-hmm.
in your personal life and in the studying and the education that you give yourself. That's all training for those highly focused 2
Mm-hmm.
hours. So
Yeah.
it's okay,
But
cool.
don't you just love it that you get to work on you, that you get to work on yourself, that you get to learn so you can show up as your best self and you can grow your business from home? Like, it's pretty cool.
That's really
Like,
awesome.
what we do is pretty cool.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's got the built-in self-improvement with it.
Mhm.
So at the end of 20, 40 years of your, at the end of 40 years of your work life, you're not just, man, I just gave my life to that company.
Mhm.
It's more like
Look at what I built.
Look at what I built. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very interesting. So this next one is really cool. I believe this is number 5, and that's learn to say no. This one is my hardest.
I know.
I have this problem. And without making you cringe and tune away from this podcast, I just
like
can't.
Our kids. Ew.
I just have to be around Veronica, and I also it's not just that I'm probably like a people pleaser, whatever that means. Come to find out, that's just means that I'm really selfish. But that I want to like pamper you, and I want to like make food for you and do things for you all the time, and so it's really hard for me to say no. Like you could ask me anything, and I'll just be like, yeah, let's go. Even though it's my MIT hour. I got the golden hour sign on the door, and I still can't say no. So it's about really learning not to feel guilty about turning down tasks or projects. Specifically, like let's say you're constantly being hit up by clients or sponsors. You also have to be able to say no to them as well.
Yeah, and I think it's such a challenge because like we want people to be happy. Like we want to deliver good results. We want to go above and beyond. And sometimes at the expense of our mental health, at the expense of our physical health, like we get into these pickles where we are all stressed and we don't know how we got there, but we are in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's an important thing for you to exercise your right to say no.
Yes.
Your right to say no to people, your right to say no to clients, your right to say no to projects.
And here's also
to family too.
Yeah, and here's also a place your the benefit of being open and honest about your limitations too, and to communicate your limitations. I only have this, no, I'm sorry, I'm not. That's not my expertise. I'm not going to take that on. That I don't have time for that because I have these MITs in my whatever it is. Sometimes you want to feel like you don't have any limitations, and you're just there for your clients. You're just there for
especially at the beginning.
Yeah, and you'll just do anything. So you need to be able to say no, and it can be really challenging. It could be the most challenging part
but
of all
it's very
of this.
empowering.
Okay, and the next one on the list, number 6.
Take care of yourself.
Okay, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, and we have covered a lot of that, but exercise, get your meditation in, sleep 8 hours.
Eat healthy.
At least eat healthy.
This is like the stuff that everybody
Nurture
says
yourself.
for everything, right?
Pamper yourself.
But it's important.
You're the golden goose, so
yeah.
Take care
that
of
one's
yourself.
Self-explanatory, but it just has to be repeated again because it's so important,
and don't feel guilty for it.
Yeah.
That's part of your job. Just make it like it's part of the work that you do is to take care of yourself and make sure that you are operating at your max.
That's been a big game changer for me in my exercise routine lately is when Veronica started saying that to me is it's part of your job. And it is, and not just to feel more confident and look as good as I can on camera, because that's difficult, right? But also just it's for the mental clarity and everything else. So take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And number 6, and this is another
disconnect from technology.
Disconnect from technology.
So hard. It's so hard. It's harder for me than for you.
Yeah.
It's very hard when you're in this business, when your business is online, to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to look at analytics. I'm not going to engage with anybody online. It's done for me.
Yeah.
And I find myself at night just scrolling because I'm tired and I just want to be mindlessly scrolling and wasting my time on technology, which can take a toll on my mental health because now I'm comparing myself to other people.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed with those images in my head, ideas that people have put in my mind. It's just a mess. So I'm trying really, really hard not to, very unsuccessfully so,
Yes.
not to have my phone at night.
Yes, at night and at work. And Veronica's been trying all sorts of things with this, where having your phone away, like you turn it off during certain hours of work. That's been working good. And but that's what I'm saying. Just, it's going to be a struggle. There's always, whatever your struggle is, like collect data on the thing. Collect data on the struggle so you can learn how to best. But, some suggestions here, just to schedule like time with family and friends, event activities that wouldn't naturally be conducive to having the device. So going on walks, or maybe doing like glow in the dark, hide and go seek or whatever. Or
that's fun.
Yeah. Turn off notifications on your phone and computer. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
If you can like go through all the apps in your iPhone and tell each one of those apps not to notify you. You don't need to be notified about TikTok. You don't need, and then go through your email list too and clean up some of those, like Lulu and Georgia. I know they have beautiful furniture, but I swear if I get one more notification from them, right? Like you're in the middle of your golden hour.
They have the best furniture.
And Veronica keeps getting hit with furniture ads. And then also setting aside a time when you respond to emails. To go back to that same book, Fanatical Prospecting is what it's called it wasn't actually Sales EQ. I think I said Sales EQ, same author. He talks about that golden hour, and he just like talks about emailing, and he kind of puts responding to emails and stuff into the busy work category. So that would be, other people think about like they have high priority tasks and then lower priority tasks. And many people will spend the first half of their day on high priority tasks and the second half of their day on low priority tasks. So if you can set aside a time to respond to emails, actually schedule the time that you're going to be responding or engaging on social media, and do all of that and stick to your schedule as much as possible. And really, if anything else, if you could just sort of almost make your MITs a religion, then you're going to be good. Because as long as you get that one little MIT and you're realistic about it, and you get that one MIT done 5 days a week, then the rest of your life, everything else could fall apart, but your business will keep going. Because you've got that MIT done. You can do it. And it's only a couple hours.
Not to mention that is building your self-esteem and the belief that you're going to make it in your business. That's very important. If every single day you're just looking at the things that you didn't get around to do, the things that are piling up on your to-do list, instead of looking at those, look at all the MITs that you have accomplished for that week or the day. That will make you feel better.
Yeah, I think so. And with that,
and we're here for you. We're here to support you. You're not doing this alone. You have us. Every week we come here and we share the best knowledge and tricks and strategies that we
we've had
are doing
with,
this
or that
with
we
you.
can find, or and we're constantly educating ourselves as much as we can with you in mind to bring and to grow with you. We are also ourselves, obviously very far from perfect, and trying everything we can do to learn this game. And from the very beginning of our business, we've thought of ourselves as guinea pigs for you. We feel like if we can go through a lot of pain and suffering,
so you don't have to.
So that you don't have to, or so that you can actually just kind of skip.
We want you to
certain
keep
steps.
going. We want you to not throw in the towel. Is that how you say it?
That is.
Ooh.
Your idiomatic
not to
expressions
throw in
are off
the
the
towel.
charts.
Like we said, this is a long-term game, and as long as you stay in the game, you are going to get to places.
You will. You just got to stay in the game.
Okay.
Stay open-minded.
Follow us on social media at Pod Sound School. We're going to leave the links in the description of this video, or the description in the show notes of this episode. This is a video podcast and an audio podcast, and you can find us everywhere. Make sure you share it with another content creators and online business owners.
Yeah.
And bye-bye.
Yeah. Hasta la vista,
jefe.